Good morning. This is Robert Laura coming to you guys again with the Think Up Podcast, episode number 13. Hope you guys enjoying you guys' morning. It is Wednesday. I really appreciate you guys' support, and I'm going to jump right into it. Episode 13, this is going to be called How to Move Out of Your Comfort Zone. I think myself and the whole world right now had to be forced to move out of their comfort zone. And I pray that the information that I share really helps you shed light in your situation. The goal of this podcast is to help you to become the highest expression of who God is calling you to be, and the highest expression. And I believe we can't do that in our comfort zone. And I think our comfort zone is a place to where our feelings shape our decisions. And when I say our feelings, I mean the feelings that are destructive. Like fear, for example. So let me get right into it. I don't want to get ahead of myself. So again, this is episode 13 of the Think Up Podcast, and this is called How to Move Out of Your Comfort Zone. And I want to start with a quote, and the quote says, "A comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing grows there." A comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing grows there. And that quote is from John Assaraf. And I believe that's so true because we allow what the information that we receive from what we read, from what we listen to, it molds how you feel most of the time. You may feel fearful most of the time. You may feel joy most of the time. You may feel insecure most of the time. What you allow yourself to feel most of the time shapes your comfort zone. So that's why it's easier for you. That's the best way I think to look at it. It's easier for you to feel fear. It may be easier for you to feel insecure, not because you are insecure, not because you are fearful, but it's because you allow yourself or accept those emotions and feelings most of the time. So ask yourself, when we're talking in relation of how to move out of your comfort zone, what are you allowing yourself to feel most of the time? What are you allowing yourself to feel most of the time? The next point I want to cover, how we feel most of the time shapes our comfort zone. So I'm not telling you how you should feel. I believe this is, everybody have their own battle. Everybody, was raised up differently. Me personally, I had to overcome insecurity, fear, to even get on this podcast, to write this book that I've been telling you guys about, Think Up to Get Up. You have to force yourself out of your comfort zone. And when I say force, I mean you ain't going to want to do it. You're not going to want to have the courage. You're not going to believe you have it. There's all types of feelings and emotions that may rise up that you may have known that were never there. As I begin to embrace all of the potential that I believe God put in me, I started getting, or beliefs started arising in me that I didn't even know existed. I had to confront my fear about money. I had to confront my fear about success. I had to confront my fear about failure. All of these were fears that I had that I never even knew I had because I didn't put enough demand on my potential to even confront them. You have to put a demand on your potential. You can't just go throughout life using the little bit of potential that you're using just to get a paycheck or just to be accepted. Yes, it's uncomfortable, but just like I love that quote, I know I quoted about 3 or 4 times in the podcast, everything in life is on the other side of your fears. Your life is on the other side of your fears. That's a quote by T.D. Jakes. Everything in life is on the other side of your fears. Courage is not absent of fear. You just do what you need to do anyways for you and your family, and you just carry those fears. And then eventually that fear does come off you. So ask yourself, and this is very important, y'all. You got to be honest with how you feel. Be honest with yourself. How do you feel most of the time? Do you feel fearful most of the time? Do you feel insecure most of the time? Do you feel jealous most of the time? Do you feel arrogant or pride most of the time? The reason why that question is so important is because whatever that feeling is, it's shaping your comfort zone. I mean, I used to be addicted to weed, marijuana, the ganja. I started smoking when I was 16 years old. I was so addicted that I never thought I would quit. I even told myself as I get older, I just smoke less because I tried to quit and the longest I went was 2 months. Now, in that season of my life, everything was about getting high. I wanted to do everything high. I wanted to go to school high. I wanted to go to work high. I wanted to do everything high, go to the club high. And it was like I told myself I wouldn't feel like I was living until I was high. That's the danger about comfort zones. You believe that your life doesn't begin until you feel comfortable. Well, y'all, we all know that if you're going to become all God is calling you to be, it's uncomfortable. You're doing new things. God is blessing you to showing you even a new side of yourself. Yes, it's uncomfortable, but allow that uncomfortableness to mature you and to strengthen you for you to be all God is calling you to be. Nothing grows. I really love this man's quote, John Assaraf. Your comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing grows there. You're not gonna grow and mature while you're comfortable. Yes, it's uncomfortable, but embrace that and use it, y'all. And the next point I want to cover, and the first question I want you guys to ask is, are you honest with how you feel? And the next question is, do you want to stay there? The answer to that question determines whether you're going to move out of your comfort zone or not. Because, and be honest with yourself, y'all. Do you want to stay there? Do you want to stay in fear? Do you want to stay in insecurity? Do you want to stay in doubt? Because if the answer is yes, it doesn't matter how true or how powerful a message is. God himself can come down and tell you you're free. But until you want to change, until you want to let go of that burden, it's not going to be lifted. And that's one thing it took me a while to accept, especially having the mindset of, I'm a good person, so you assume good things happen to you. I don't know if any of y'all was like that, but that's a lie. Who cares how good you are? What do you believe about yourself? I was saying, I'm a good person, so good things should happen to me. But no, what am I sowing? The word of God says that whatever you sow, you're going to reap. You can't disconnect what you reap from what you're sowing. So if you're sowing fear, if you're sowing insecurity, if you're sowing doubt, you can't be surprised when you reap that harvest. That's why it's so important to get out of your comfort zone, because in your comfort zone, you are sowing seeds. Don't think because you're comfortable or because you feel like everything is going okay that you're not sowing seeds. You are sowing seeds. The only thing is the seeds you're sowing is not going to reap the harvest that you deserve. You guys deserve greater. I know I deserve greater. My wife deserves greater. My kids deserve greater. Every generation should build on the last. So my dad, my mom, they want me to be better than they was. I want my kids to be better than I was. But we have to begin that cycle. I did a podcast and I was saying that each generation is called to start and stop cycles. Well, what cycles is God calling you to start, and what cycles is God calling you to stop? Take on that responsibility and know that you are anointed to carry that out. Yes, you're going to be fearful, but embrace that and use it to grow. All right, the next question. Well, this is a quote right here. Your comfort zone is not a reflection of laziness, fear, or any other form of destructive emotion. It's only a feeling you prefer. Your comfort zone is not a reflection of laziness, fear, or any other form of destructive emotion. It's only a feeling you prefer. And I say that, y'all, because I think for me, it helps me to bring my comfort zone to how I feel. That's why I start off saying, how do you feel? Don't look at your comfort zone as bondage or something that's holding you back. Look at it as, this is what I prefer. And when you minimize it to that, you can then ask yourself, well, why do I prefer to feel fearful? Why do I prefer to feel insecure? Because sometimes we can think we're being held down by outside forces. God knows I thought the same thing. You're not being held down by anything outside of yourself. All forms of bondage starts with ignorance. If you truly believe that you can't get up because somebody or something or some force is holding you down, then just look at it like gravity. Gravity is holding us down. Gravity is a blessing, and depending on how you choose to use gravity, it can be a curse. Now, is gravity really a curse, or did you choose to disobey it? Look at your comfort zone as, okay, there's certain principles I gotta obey in order to break free. Now, with that being said, you have to find out for you what's keeping you within your comfort zone. You got to find out what feelings are you allowing to empower you to stay comfortable, because destructive emotions empower you to stay comfortable, meaning that you accept their destructive nature. Everything that is holding you down, you accept. When you choose to break free, you accept freedom. Think about it. Even in our culture, nobody can truly be free until they accept it. Now, I don't want to get deep in that, but the only point I'm trying to make is nobody's holding you down. Nobody's stopping you from becoming the best you can be. Nobody's stopping you from starting your business. Nobody's stopping you from being an author, doing whatever you want to do that you think is impossible. You stopping you. And this is why it's so important to break free from your comfort zone. And I pray that even what I'm doing is really, being a blessing to you guys, because I tell you guys just about every other day, I'm out of my comfort zone, but I'm learning to be comfortable in my uncomfortableness, if that makes sense. I'm uncomfortable, but it's growing me. It's maturing me. I'm learning a lot. You can't grow outside within your comfort zone. Let me move on. The next question I want you to ask is why? Why do you prefer to stay in your comfort zone knowing that you cannot become the highest expression of who God is calling you to be? Knowing that if you stay where you at, you're not going to become the highest expression of who God is calling you to be. Ask yourself, why did you choose to stay there? And for me, when I answered those questions, it kind of motivated me to say, you know what? No, that's not a good enough reason. I'm not going to become an author because I'm fearful, because of what I think people may say or how they may perceive it. That wasn't good enough reasons. Y'all, some reasons you may come up when you really say them out loud, they sound so stupid. Like really, like you're not going to become an author because of how somebody else may perceive it. You're not going to start your business because you may fail. Yes, failure, nobody wants to fail. But, you heard it millions of times. Failure equals growth. You have to fail to learn. Come on, man. We all know that, but you got to apply it to your life. You got to apply what you already know to your life. It's easy to just know things, but not apply them. Okay, the next thing I want to cover is 2 Timothy, the 1st chapter and the 7th verse. It says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but power and love and a sound mind." And I thought to myself, what does it look like to have a spirit of fear? And I think a person who has the spirit of fear is a person that makes all of their decisions with fear in mind. I'm not going to do this because it's going to feed my fear. I'm not going to be honest with that because it's going to feed my fear. Fear is going to keep you stuck if you choose to make all of your decisions based on fear. That's why you got to have courage. Courage just means you got to carry your fears. You got to have faith enough to carry the burden of your fears. And you do it anyway. I think it's a book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Yeah, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. I forgot who wrote it. But you have to carry that fear. And yes, it's uncomfortable. But again, and I said that quote before, being stagnant is uncomfortable. Don't think if you don't do it, you're going to be comfortable. That's the lie I think that is being told, or what we believe, to keep us stagnant. That if I stay where I'm at, I'm going to be comfortable. Living in your comfort zone is not comfortable. What happens is people force themselves to make sense of their stagnation. When you can force yourself, you can make sense of anything. I mean, you can make sense of anything. It's how God wired us, man. You can do the most foolish thing and you can make sense of it. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't want to get on that. So ask yourself, guys, like, is fear holding me back? Do I feel fearful most of the time? Do I feel insecure most of the time? Is that what's keeping me in my cage? Ask yourself that. You know, and it's really important, guys. So I pray this context and everything I covered blessed you guys. You know, if you guys really love the content, you know, please, you know, send me an email. I love to hear your feedback. You can email me at robertlowry3@gmail.com. Again, this episode number 13, and it's how to move out of your comfort zone. I pray you guys have a blessed Wednesday, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.